According to legend, Buddhism was founded by Prince Siddhartha Gautama of Kapilavastu, also known as Shakyamuni. He advocated the equality of all beings, opposed the dominance of deities, and established the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path to teach people to do good and cultivate virtue. However, Buddhism also inherited the doctrine of karma and reincarnation from Brahmanism. But unlike Brahmanism, Buddhism allows everyone the opportunity for rebirth, unlike Brahmanism, which only allowed the first three castes to be reborn, causing injustice. Because Buddhism opposed the superiority of deities and monks, it also received widespread support from the Kshatriya caste. Furthermore, the Buddhist concept of the equality of all beings attracted many followers from lower castes. Therefore, Buddhism began to flourish. The Warring States period of ancient India was very similar to the Spring and Autumn and Warring States periods of China. The two periods not only coincided in time, but also culturally demonstrated a struggle for supremacy among various schools of thought. Furthermore, both civilizations experienced continuous internal warfare. Ultimately, they gradually moved towards unification. In ancient India, the state that played a role similar to the Qin dynasty was Magadha, also known as Magadha. The only difference was that the Qin dynasty unified China from west to east, while the Magadha dynasty was located in the eastern part of the Ganges River Basin, unifying the Ganges River Basin from east to west. Qin Shaogong of Magadha, whose name was Qin Bala, is known in Indian history as King Ping Sha. In 544 BC, after ascending the throne, King Ping Sha built the city of Rajagriha. Qin Shaogong's western Jin and western Rong stabilized the western part of Qin, while King Ping Sha's eastern Jin and Yanjia controlled the Ganges River Delta. Furthermore, Qin Shaogong of China valued the Shang dynasty and implemented reforms, gradually strengthening the Qin state. King Ping Sha supported Buddhism within the country and suppressed Brahmanism to enhance his own power. But after King Bimbisara died, the Magadha kingdom fell into internal conflict. It wasn't until 364 BC that Mahapadmananda ascended the throne, ending the internal strife and establishing the Nanda dynasty. From then on, the Ganges River Basin and part of the Digao Plateau were unified. However, at this time, the western part of ancient India, the Indus River Basin, was invaded by the Persians and became a province under Persian rule. The Nanda dynasty, having just completed the unification of the East, immediately began its westward advance to reclaim the Indus River Basin. But when the Nanda army reached the Indus River Basin, they did not directly confront the Persians but encountered a more powerful invader, Alexander's Eastern army. Therefore, the Nanda dynasty's unification campaign was forced to end. However, when Alexander occupied the Indus River Basin and was planning to continue westward to attack the Nanda dynasty, the Eastern Army, having fought for a long time, was experiencing constant internal strife among its soldiers. Alexander was forced to withdraw his troops. During this time, in the Punjab region of the upper Indus River, there was a man named Chandragupta, or as we know him, Chandala. He had long been at odds with the Greeks, accumulating great prestige and reputation, and was one of the greatest kings in Indian history. Therefore, after the Greeks withdrew, many regions submitted to Chandala. In 324 BC, Chandala marched eastward and destroyed Nanda. From there, Chandala established his Maurya dynasty, and later began to contend for control of northwestern India with the Seleucus kingdom, part of the Alexander Empire after its collapse. Finally, he defeated Seleucus and gained control of what is now southern Afghanistan. Seleucus's defeat shocked the Western world. Therefore, another Greek nation, Protomist Egypt, sent envoys to the Maurya kingdom's capital, Parsi city, to strengthen bilateral relations. If Chandala is likened to Liu Bang, the Han Emperor of China, in replacing the Qin dynasty, then Ashoka, the third king of the Maurya kingdom, is more like Liu Che, the Han Emperor of Han. His reign brought the Maurya kingdom to its peak. In 273 BC, Ashoka ascended the throne and conquered Kalingar on the Deccan Plateau, completing the unification of the Indian subcontinent, except for the southernmost part. This action was similar to Liu Che's Han Emperor's exploration of the western regions and expansion of the southwestern barbarian territories, both expanding the territory of his dynasty. Furthermore, while Liu Che abolished Confucianism and the 100 schools of thought, Ashoka strongly supported Buddhism. Thanks to his support, Buddhism became the state religion of ancient India. Politically, the Han Emperor established the central court and the governor-general system to strengthen the state apparatus. Ashoka also dispatched many spies to monitor the activities of officials and local people to consolidate his absolute power. However, after Ashoka's death, internal conflicts and constant invasions by foreign peoples began to plague the entire Maurya Empire, leading to its rapid demise. In 187 BC, the Maurya dynasty collapsed in the Ganges River basin, and the northern part of the Deccan Plateau was successively ruled by the Chu Na, Kalva, and Satyavana dynasties. The territory ruled by these dynasties gradually shrank, and internal strife continued. Meanwhile, in the Indus River basin, the Greeks, the Sakas, and the Yuezhi continuously invaded and established numerous principalities in western India. Among them, the Yuezhi achieved the most significant success by establishing the Kushan Empire in northwest India. The Yuezhi were still nomadic people living in the Heshi region of China. After being defeated by the Xiongnu, they began migrating westward. This forced the Saka people living in the Pamir region to migrate to what is now Afghanistan, replacing Greek rule there. Later, the Yuezhi continued southward, forcing the Saka to migrate even further south into India. Upon reaching Afghanistan, the Yuezhi settled down. From a nomadic people, they developed into an agricultural nation. During this period, the Yuezhi had 5 major tribes, each with a leader called a Japu. By 30 AD, Kujala Kashpiza Japu of Kushan united the 5 major tribes to form the Kushan kingdom and marched south to conquer Kashmir. Later, Kujala Kashpiza's sons and grandsons continued the southward and westward campaigns. Finally, they entered the Indus River basin during the reign of his grandson Kandishka. The Kushan Empire's territory stretched from the Pamir Mountains in the north to the Narmada River in the south, from eastern Iran to the middle Ganges River in the east. Along with the Roman Empire, the Patya Empire, and the Han Dynasty of China, the Kushan Empire was considered one of the 4 great empires of the classical period. Furthermore, during Kandishka's reign, he actively propagated Buddhism and built many Buddhist stupas. It was during this period that Buddhism split into 2 schools, Mahayana and Theravada. Theravada Buddhism spread south into Southeast Asia, while Mahayana Buddhism followed the Silk Road into China and had a significant influence on later Chinese Confucian culture. Although the Kushan Empire's territory was vast, it was home to many ethnic groups with diverse cultural traditions. The divisions between these ethnic groups were severe, and centrifugal tendencies were strong in various regions. Furthermore, during the Eastern Han Dynasty of China, the northern Xiongnu were completely defeated by the Han Dynasty and began to migrate westward. A group of Xiongnu advanced into the territory of Sassanid Persia and were defeated. After their defeat, the Xiongnu turned their attention to South Asia, beginning their invasion of the Kushan Empire, also known as the Kutcha Empire. This group of Xiongnu was called the Great Xiongnu by the Persians, also known as the White Xiongnu. The invasion by the White Xiongnu directly led to the collapse and fragmentation of the Kutcha Empire.